final season of Criminal Minds. Joe Mantegna here with us. What's up, man?
Everything's dandy.
I can't believe it's coming to an end.
You
sure
can't
you feel
believe it.
the same way, right?
Yeah.
You're like, I've done over 300 episodes. I've actually
I
lived
thought
it.
maybe this might be my job for life, you know.
Where were you at before you started the show? Like, what was your life and career looking like at that point?
Well, it was all right. I mean, look, I've been at this I realize this is my 51st year in show business.
That's crazy.
So that is crazy. You know, I thought, well, am I really that old? And I look in the mirror and I go, yeah, my hair's white, I guess so. But, you know, I've been banging around. I did theater most for the first 15 years of my career, really, before I ever really did anything outside of that. And then that led to movies and television and, you know, banging around back and forth through all three mediums, really, of theater, film, and television. But I hadn't really done a series until, you know, more in the last 15, 20 years. I more got pointed toward actually doing a series that would where I would be like a regular and have a regular job. And actually, it's what I was looking for. I mean, and I'm glad it worked out because, you know, I have children and they were getting older and the idea of all the travel you have to do is great when your kids are little. Everybody goes with you and you have, you know, it's fun. You make a vacation out of it in many ways. But that wasn't the reality once they got a little older. Especially having my oldest daughter has autism, and the travel got to be a little more like, well, you know, Dad's got to do it, but nobody else does. And then you start to think, you know, what takes the priority here, your job or your life, you know? So I thought if I can get a job where I can kind of go home at night, that'd be really sweet, you know? And the trick is to find something that's got legs that you like to do.
This has had some legs.
Yeah, this had legs, you know, and I just love doing it. So I felt very lucky that it all worked out that way.
Because what do those days look like? How long are you guys on set before you go home?
It wasn't terrible. I mean, our drama is, I would say, the hardest job in television, normally. In other words, because you have something like anywhere from 7 to 8 to 9 days to shoot an episode, and it doesn't stop. That train never stops. And so 12 to 14-hour days are pretty much the norm. However, the more you can have a show that is ensemble related as opposed to like a one-man band, you know, like the danger is when you're on a show called Magnum P.I. and You're Magnum, or House and Your House. This was called Criminal Minds.
A little more pressure.
I was neither the criminal nor the mind.
You're just one of the guys.
I was one of the guys, and I wanted it that way. I mean, I know I was number one on the call sheet in the sense that, okay, that's the guy that you kind of start with. I think because I'm the oldest guy in the group. But and I even told them that when I came into the show, because I didn't come into season 1, I came in season 3.
Yeah, which I was going to say, which must have been an interesting thing for you.
Yeah, I mean, Mandy Patinkin had already been on the show, and I think it was more oriented, too, that he kind of had a little more to do than the rest. And in essence, I did, too, for that matter. But when I watched those episodes of the show, when they first kind of came to me about my interest in doing it, and I looked at those episodes, I thought, this is a tremendous ensemble. That's what I liked about it. I thought every actor was very well defined, and that I could see that each one had the strength to carry an episode on their own if they had to. In other words, storylines didn't have to be, they weren't just like, yes, well, I'll get the coffee, or I'll shoot the guy. And
they got their own thing going on. They can carry it.
They got their own thing going, and their characters are strong, and so, and I talked to the producers about that. I says, look, as long as you keep it that way, because I'm not, you know, I'm not campaigning to lead the parade here. I'll just be, in fact, I've often said this, that my image of my character was to be Dr. Smith on Lost in Space, to be the kind of the older curmudgeon who just kind of mixed it up every once in a while, and they had to listen.
Pick your spots a little bit.
Yeah, because he was experienced, but he was he'd also kind of like rock the boat a little bit, and that's kind of the way it went. But it was great. So, so the days, you know, it's not an easy job. No, you have to be disciplined. You have to be, you know, and you're talking about not just the cast, the crew, everybody. So, you know, it's a dream job, I know, to most people out there. Oh, I want to be an actor. I want to be a successful actor and make movies and do television shows. And I get it. It's a fantasy job. But the reality is you better have your stuff, or you're not going to be in it long, or you're not going to be successful at it.
And also a certain level of humility, too, because you've taken all the rejections, you've gotten your few parts along the way. I mean, you got to be real with it. Like, that's just a part of the deal.
Your skin's got to be pretty thick in this business.
People are going to pick you apart for all your stuff.
And I knew going into the show, especially, I knew they were going to, a lot of them would probably start jumping on me because I'm like the new guy there, replacing a guy that I'm sure a lot of them, you know, he kind of left at his own volition and kind of abruptly, and I think people weren't kind of prepared for that. And so, and I think the producers did a good thing. They didn't try to bring me in a way that would ingratiate me like instantly. Like, oh, look, this nice guy's coming in. He kind of brought me in with a guy with an edge, with a kind of an attitude. And they're like, you know, some of the fan mail initially was like, who the hell is this? We hate this guy. Why is he here? You know, and I thought, this is all right. This is good. You know, because I came in with like in fact, the opening shot of my character coming in. Now you got to understand, the character prior to mine, that Mandy played, he was a bird lover. Everything they worked into his character over the 2 seasons that he did the show, that he was like an Autobahn guy and it had pictures of birds.
I got you. It was all peppered in there throughout.
All peppered in there. He had wallpaper of birds, everything birds. The episode opens, my introductory episode, you see ducks flying across the sky. All of a sudden you hear boom, boom, boom. And it cuts to me in the blind, dropping a few of the ducks with a shot.
Wow.
And then my dog running out to get the ducks. And Ed Bernero, our showrunner, said that wasn't by accident. That was kind of, he just says, let's just spin this whole thing on its head.
But that's really smart because it's a specific detail of the previous character, and then we're going to build on that, and we're going to make this its own thing. I think that's really cool.
Right. It's almost like, okay, you like this guy? Okay, well, first we're going to start. You're going to really hate this guy.
Right, because I'm about to blow this up. Episode 1, scene 1.
Okay, now what? So I have to win their trust and win their affection in a way, and that's okay. And it took some episodes for that to happen, but the writers were skillful and the plot lines were such that you found out, okay, there's a reason why this guy's got an edge and why he acts this way, and that maybe, and I think after a while, I think I did okay in terms of bringing them into the fold and saying, Rossi, maybe he's not such a bad guy.
Well, I think the ensemble thing is interesting because, like, take somebody like Shamar Moore. Like, he's able to pop from that show because of the fact that it's an ensemble thing and he carved out his own niche. Like, that may not have happened if it was just you kind of taking the reins there.
No, absolutely right. Absolutely right. And he had a huge fan base, but they all do. So, I mean, Kirsten Vagness is just she's the computer girl.
Right.
She only would work 2 or 3 days a week on our show because she didn't have to be there all the time.
And still people are interested in that character.
Oh, and she's huge. I mean, and I've been to Quantico numerous times to The Real Deal.
Yeah, what was that like for you? That must have been wild.
It's fantastic. It's great. I mean, it just gives you even more respect for what these men and women do every day. You know, we did our best to try to, you know, in our own way to portray it as honestly as possible within the framework of, you know, entertainment. But I think they liked our show for that reason. They didn't feel it was one of those, and there were FBI shows they weren't that keen on. Like they felt like, man, that's more like a soap opera, and that's not kind of.
Right, this isn't how we do it.
No, this isn't how.
Or they just exaggerated on other shows. You guys tried to be true to form.
We tried to be true to form, and we had real FBI on staff. I mean, we had one guy from day one to the final day who was, he was active FBI when we started and retired even at one point during the run of the show and then stayed on. He was one of our head writers. So we always had that to check in with. So, but going to Quantico and experience and all that was great and very helpful. And like I said, gave me great respect for what these people really do.
So going off that, what's been the most fascinating part of playing this character?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. The most fascinating part, I suppose it is being able to portray the kind of effort that goes into what these people do. Like having spent the time at Quantico, what I came away with was there's obviously more crime in the world every day that one organization could handle.
Sure.
But if they were able to if you gave them one thing to go after, they'll get it. Because the facilities they have and the resources they have and the attention that they can put on something and the diverse ways of getting about doing it is like, you know, I don't think you can, that perfect crime just won't exist. I mean, I really think that. Because it's, and a lot of it's just the public is just not even aware of. And
right, a lot of stuff we never even hear about.
No, and they don't need to be because you don't want too much of the bad guys to know what the good guys are doing. You know, but they opened up some stuff to me that I would be discreet about even revealing because I thought, okay, wow, okay,
right, I got to keep this under wraps.
Hello, you know, okay, thank you.
Yep.
But nothing, nothing untoward or anything that's illegal. But
no, but that informs the character and the experience, I'm sure.
Exactly, and it did, and it gives you a certain confidence and a certain kind of swagger and all that. Because at the end of the day, it's real people, you know, and that's what I think I enjoyed a lot about it and came away with is that. And I enjoyed those episodes. I directed, I think, 9 of them. And I would often ask to do scripts that were more character-driven in the sense of, that they were psychological and more about that as opposed to, I didn't care about the gruesome the crime was and all that. And some, of course, were, because they are, and it happens.
And there have been so many of those on the show, but to be able to focus on the people individually, I'm sure that was cool for you.
Especially if you're going to go 15 seasons, people are obviously invested in that.
Totally.
In other words, if someone's watching a TV show for 15 years, they're not doing it because, oh, I can't wait to see what that new weird crime is on next week. And then who are the characters? You know, no. That means they know everybody's name. They can't even know details about them. Oh, he's been married 3 times. Oh, this guy's does that.
Yeah, they're invested in the people.
Yeah, they're invested in the people. And so I was always a proponent, would bang the drum for those kind of episodes. Like, let's give them, more of backstories, like even of like we had an episode that just aired recently among our final episodes here that we're doing this season, and it was called Saturday. And it all just dealt with what we all do, had happened to do on a particular Saturday.
That's perfect. There you go.
I think the fan base, especially our loyal fan base, probably loved that because
because you're always thinking about that.
Yeah, this is a Saturday. This is it's not the work day. How often do you get a chance to do that? That's cool.
Most shows don't focus on life outside of work, and if they do, it's relationship based, and it's not really like just the nitty gritty of what you're going through in life.
No, this we devoted the whole episode to every character. This was how they spent that Saturday, and some was just very benign, not much going on. I mean, in the sense that had nothing to do with a crime or anything. Or some of them had to I got to go to work a little bit today.
When you think about the TV industry, I mean, you've had this show for a long time. You've done The Simpsons. Like, what's it like for you to see the evolution of TV and just like people trying to get into TV because of all the great stuff going on?
Oh, I know. Well, it's when I first started in this business, and I've been this is my 51st year professionally as an actor. When I first started, it was delineated pretty specifically. You were either from the theater, you were a television actor, you were a film actor.
Right. There wasn't crossover going on.
Never the twain shall meet.
Yeah.
You had your own award shows, your own everything. You look at each other. Right? You
got your own crew.
How are you? I'm a movie star. Or I do theater. I think the British were a step ahead of us in that department. I think they
had some more crossover.
They learned early that it's all this, it's acting. Come on,
we could just do it all.
So I think what happened is, and I noticed it in my own children, that when TV, you got to understand, when I was a kid, there was 3 stations. You had CBS, ABC, NBC, and PBS. That was it. Then they started this UHF thing, or whatever that is at one point. But basically, you had 3 networks. And if you weren't on one of those 3 networks, you weren't on TV. Obviously, that landscape has really changed. And the other thing that changed with it is, I think that the viewership, the young people, they made the decision who the stars are. So in other words, where before it was, well, these are movie stars and these are TV stars. Well, these young people started watching those TV shows, and all of a sudden they start seeing Johnny Depp on a TV show, and they go, okay, well, yeah, we'll pay $5 to see him in a movie too.
Exactly. And a producer's thinking, let's put him in a movie after seeing him on a show.
So now you look at all your major, Tom Hanks, you go down the line, your major movie stars. Just about all of them came from television.
Yeah, I mean, even Clooney for years.
Clooney, Brad Pitt, I mean, you name them.
Leo,
they've all started
done
in television. And of course, sometimes the circle completes itself and they go back to television.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm one of them in a sense.
Totally. Yeah.
So, and I like that. I think it should be just, you do a play, you do a movie, you do a television show. And what is television? It all winds up on TV anyway.
Right.
Eventually.
It's all acting.
Whatever the movie is, I don't care if this movie costs us $1 billion to make. And then 3 weeks later, there's a kid on a plane watching it on his iPhone.
Exactly.
Like, oh, this is great,
Yep. Not even in the theater.
Yeah. No. I mean, we just saw like with The Irishman, where all of a sudden they make a big deal out of it. Well, Netflix said, I'm sorry, thank you.
Yeah, I broke it up into 3 parts. That's how I watched it.
Of course.
Yeah.
And there's no going backwards.
No.
It's not like all of a sudden they're going to say,
no, you got to adjust.
This is not working out.
Adapt.
I think you're all going to have to go to the theaters now and forget, we're going back to 3 networks. No.
People find a way to watch stuff.
Yeah, and so you have so many, and it's great. I think what it's done is improve the writing. Before, it was very hard for writers to have to find an avenue for their stuff. In other words, and a lot of them came to television from the movies because it was so hard to make a movie.
Right.
To get it sold and get it made. You work on a script for 2-3 years and it opens.
And then there's a maybe.
And it's a maybe, and then it gets bad numbers and it's gone.
Right, and you're screwed anyway.
Or at least the TV writers were like, okay, this script was okay, maybe the next one will even be better.
Exactly.
And so we've got some wonderful writers doing television now, and obviously television shows that are, change the whole landscape of viewing in terms of, popularity and, franchises of shows that are just, hugely successful.
So the theater thing is a big thing for you, but life after this show, like how much will you miss this show? What will life look like for you after it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll miss the show because we all got along so well. It was such a tight, especially the last 8 characters, the last 8 cast members. I mean, I got a text thread today, and I'll have another one tomorrow with them, that we all still stay in very close contact because we all liked each other so much.
Spent a lot of time together.
A lot of time together. But not, you know, sometimes even with that, and you'll have good chemistry with everybody, but even with that, when the thing's over, sometimes it's over. And it's like, you go, well, you know what? It's been great. I see you.
I'm on to the next thing.
I'm on to the next, you're on to the next thing. Maybe our paths will cross. This seems to be a little more than that. In other words, it doesn't even matter that we're all going our diverse ways. There's a connection that we feel very strongly about. And of course, that may in the future somewhat dissipate. But right now, still, it's been really a year since we last shot an episode. And we're still as tight as ever, and we get together for little events and get-togethers, and I think that's nice. And I particularly enjoy it because I'm like, you know, I'm Papa Joe. I'm like,
you're the guy, yeah.
I'm the old guy in the group. So I figure, boy, if they like it, you know, of course I'm going to like it. So it's been great. So I'll miss it. We all will miss it. But I'm a realist too. All things come to an end, and for us to have done 15 seasons of a show is, you know, it's rarefied air. We should feel very blessed and fortunate, and we are.
Yeah, no doubt. Joe, really nice to meet you, man.
My pleasure.
Thanks so much. Check this guy out. Final season of Criminal Minds. For Joe, I'm DJ. See you next time here on The Sit Down.